Hello, my name is Eric Salt, and today on How To Heroes, we're going to be making spicy pork rolls. And what they are is like a party snack. You're definitely going to be the hero of your party if you show up with these things. They are really tasty. So first, I am going to take a pork cutlet right here. This one is pretty thick, and I'm going to slice it thin like this. I'm going to try to get 3 slices out of this one right here. So what I'm going to do is hold my hand like this and lightly press down on the pork chop. Keep your fingers up and out of the way of the knife. And just go down about just maybe 1/3 of an inch and cut in one direction like this. You're just kind of filleting it and laying some pressure with your palm without cutting the palm of your hand. Not fun. So just pull the knife through like this, and then once you get into it a good amount, you can fold it back and then finish your cut. So what we're going to do right here, I'm going a little quicker than I want to here, but that's okay. So this one will be cut into 2 more, but this one here, what we're going to do is tenderize it and pound it out so it's going to look like these right here on this plate in a second. So if you're making these as a party snack, you want to do this before your guests show up because it gets noisy. And if you're making a lot of them, it's noisy for a while. It takes a little bit of prep time. So just keep that in mind. People are watching TV or a pre-game show or something, they're going to yell at you or throw something at you. Whatever. So what I'm going to do here is take this tenderizing hammer on the flat side, and I'm going to just pound kind of outward. So it would kind of almost like a pizza. You want to get it kind of rounded out like that. So here we go. What I would do is continue doing that and then take real quick the other side of the hammer if you have one like this with the serrades, and just give it a few just to tenderize it some more. And what will happen is when you put the flavors and things I'm going to show you later, it's going to get into the meat more, which is going to taste really good. So as long as they're nice and tenderized, like that. Put it on the cutting board. If you don't like the fat, trim it right off. Might want to save that later, make some pork fat on the stove. So here we are, a whole plate of these cutlets. And what we do is we'll take one. We're going to take a kosher salt and pepper premix. It's just 2 ingredients. And we're going to season it. And then what I have here is prosciutto Parma. It's an imported Italian prosciutto. I like to use the good stuff. I don't make these often, so spend a little extra money. It tastes better. Take one of these strips, and you're going to put it right on here. And what we're going to do in the next part is we're going to show you the paste we're making out of garlic and oil and roasted tomatoes, etc. And we're going to spread it on that and do that later. But I'm going to continue working on these all just like this one, and then we're going to move to the next step. So we have just made the cutlets with the prosciutto on them. They're back in the fridge and they're chilling. So we're going to leave them there while we do the next step, which is we're going to make the breading, which is breadcrumbs and potato chips, and we're going to make the paste that goes into the spicy pork rolls. So first, the breading. I'm using breadcrumbs, and I've got crushed potato chips in a bowl here. I do that. I like the crispy potato chips that have like cracked pepper in them or something. You can use whatever ones you like. Barbecue, whatever. Get your hammer, put some in a Ziploc bag, and just crunch them up. You might want to get some of the air out of the bag, or it'll pop like a balloon. And what you end up with after you do that for a few minutes, or a minute or so, is you get this. And what you want to do now is you want to add a pinch of Parmesan cheese, shredded, fresh, which we have here. Throw that in there. About a cup of breadcrumbs. I use plain ones. You can use the Italian style if you like. Put them in there. Couple shots of the cayenne pepper. Gives it a little juice. I mix it around with my hands, as long as your hands are clean. Just get it all mixed up so it's all good. And it should look like that when you're done. And just put this aside. I'm going to get back to that when we go to assembly. So right now we're going to go to the paste part, which gets spread over the pork roll when we take those slices out of the fridge. What I'm going to do here is the recipe calls for onions. I've just kind of sauteed some up a little bit on the stove ahead of time. You can do that if you like. I like them a little, caramelized. Put all these in your food processor, like so. Next, you want to do tomato paste, concentrated, not a whole lot because it's really strong, maybe a tablespoon worth. The next step will be some salt and pepper. Again, the kosher salt with pepper mix. Just a couple dashes of that in there. We have roasted red pepper. I'm going to put most of this in there. This is a good amount. Oops, messy. Parsley, good amount. A huge part of the flavor of these things is the fresh parsley, so really start to smell it when they're in the oven. So there you go, like that, and on the table, it's good. And garlic. I like a lot of garlic. I'm going to put in a little more than usual, maybe 2 good scoops. Maybe that's enough. That's good. All right. So, oil. Just put a little bit in there. Get it all mixed up like that. The last thing we're going to add into the paste is a little bit of this Parmesan cheese. Even though we've got that in the crumbs, we also want it in the paste. It's good. So, this thing on, pulse it. Pulse it a few more times until you got a nice paste going, and now we're going to move on to assembly. So we've got our oven preheating to 375 degrees, and we've taken our cutlets out of the refrigerator. What we're going to do now is assemble these. And what you want to do is I align everything in the row just so, it gets a little messy. They're going to end up on this. What I've got here is a rack with a little bit of oil spray on it so they don't stick. To take one like this, really easy. Take a spoon, scoop out a good amount of this, stallop it all in the middle, and spread it around. You don't have to use a whole lot of this stuff, and running out of this stuff is a bummer if you've still got a bunch of these cutlets left. So I put a lot on there, but you will taste it even if you just put a little bit. And what I do there is just kind of roll them up, just like a roll. And then put them in the egg and roll them around. What I do is I'll just let one sit there for a sec while I do the next one. All right, so I'm going to pull one out. Put it in the breadcrumb mix we have here with the potato chips. I kind of hold it together with my fingers while I put it on the pan, like that. Just keep it in shape like that. You might want to sprinkle a little bit of extra stuff on top. I'm going to do that with the other two here, and I'm going to finish assembling all of mine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pop them in the oven for 20 minutes at 375 degrees, and then we're going to check them with a meat thermometer at 140 degrees. And once they reach that, they're done. Pull them out, and let them sit for like 5 minutes, and then we'll cut them up and we'll eat them. Okay, we have taken these out of the oven, and we've let them sit for about 5 minutes. Before we did that, we checked the temperature, 140 degrees. We're good to go. Nice and crispy on top. The potato chips are just slightly crispy and maybe a little bit burnt on the edges. It's awesome. And what you do is just take some tongs and a sharp knife, and you can probably get 3 out of each one and just, cut them through. And you can see that nice twirled in the color with all the paste, the things that were in our paste, like the tomatoes and parsley, and it's all good. And it tastes awesome. Yeah, and you just skewer them, bring them out, and you are the hero of your party. Spicy pork rolls.